This year, Wild Turkey released a 15-year Russell's Reserve for a whopping $250. Is it worth the price, or is it just a money grab? If you want to find out, then stick around. All right, pretty girl, we have to disclose the source of our allocated bottles.
We do.
This one we bought in a Russell's Reserve bundle from California. So there's a store. Apparently they had done 2 Russell's Reserve single barrels, and they had not sold out all of their single barrel bottles, which shocks me because if we did a Russell's Reserve single barrel, there'd be people camping out overnight. Yeah, what? But they sold it in a bundle, 2 Russell's Reserve single barrels and the 15 at a price that made it slightly under SRP. So I thought that was a good deal for us. So story on this bottle, the Russell's family, they're 3 generations working at the distillery. Jimmy Russell just celebrated his 70th year working at the distillery.
Holy moly.
Yeah, which is pretty amazing. He started, I think, in 1954 and worked his way up to master distiller. Now, Eddie, his son, is the master distiller, and he created Russell's Reserve in 2001 to honor his father. Jimmy still does technically work at the distillery. He goes and hangs out in the gift shop and signs bottles and talks with people about whiskey, and it's pretty freaking awesome. But Eddie's son, Bruce, is now the assistant blender and is no doubt being trained to become the master distiller one day. So Russell's Reserve has been a premium that didn't really interfere with Wild Turkey's regular sales, right? So Wild Turkey historically has been kind of a value play, lower price. They were looking for a way to play in the premium space without upsetting their regular Wild Turkey customers, and I think that Russell's was the way that they were able to do that. It's always been at a premium price, slightly higher price point, and they do a lot of their special releases through the Russell's name, although they do now have the Wild Turkey Master's Keep collection. But I guess they figured out a way to do it. It wasn't going to upset their regular Wild Turkey one-on-one customers, so that's fine. So the distillery on this one is Wild Turkey. The SKU is Russell's Reserve 15-year. The age is obviously 15 years. The proof is 117.2. The SRP, as I mentioned, is $250. The bottle size is 750 ml. What do you say we taste it up, pretty?
Let's do it.
It's got that nice Wild Turkey cherry note on the nose. Getting a hint of peanut.
I'm not a fan of the peanut.
Not a huge fan of peanutty whiskey.
Not at all.
This one's not super strong.
It's not super strong.
It's not like a Beam or a Heaven Hill, but there's a little bit of nuttiness in there. Some people say it's like peanuts and cherry cola. Is the tasting note I hear from some people on Wild Turkey.
Yeah.
What else are you getting on this one?
Maybe some toffee.
I'm getting some toffee. It's less of a caramel. It's a little bit more burnt. In fact, there's a hint of like a smoke note on this one.
I don't know if it's all the way smoked though.
Yeah, I said a hint.
I can't smell anything.
Really?
Just smell your hand.
Huh.
And I just touched it to my nose.
Yeah, I get it. I get a hint of the smoke mixed in with the toffee. Cherry for sure. A little bit of nuttiness. All in all, very solid. So how would you rate this? Is this a yepper or noper? Based on flavor. Not based on price, based on flavor.
It's a no for me.
It's a no for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna rate this one actually quite high.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna put it at like 91 1-ish.
Really?
I like this more than some very highly allocated bottles. So what I thought was interesting is when I opened this, I loved it. So when Russell's Reserve first started releasing higher age stated releases, they came out with this Russell's 13.
Okay.
And I immediately fell in love with it, which is odd because Wild Turkey is normally a distillery that when their whiskey ages more than 12 years, it really doesn't appeal to my palate. We've got some Wild Turkey 12-year age stay from Japan, and I really don't enjoy it that much. It's just too acrid and too much barrel char flavor.
Okay.
But the 13 I liked, and so when I got the 15, I loved it. And so let's try these side by side and see what you think. So for me, I actually surprisingly like the Russell's 15 more than the Russell's 13.
Okay.
How about you?
I like this one a little better because
Okay.
it's lighter
Okay.
and feels like it's more citrusy, and I don't get the peanut that I get in that one.
Okay. So I actually get a little bit more barrel char on this in comparison to this.
Okay.
And it's only because I'm trying them side by side. When I drink this on its own and I'm not doing a side by side comparison, I don't really notice it as much. This one, the flavors seem more balanced and like integrated with one another for my palate. But last year they came out, well, it wasn't last year, but last year the single rick house that they came out with, which was a very expensive bottle. I called it my favorite Russell's that's ever been released. So try it against this guy.
Okay.
So I thought when I tried this and I went and I got the Russell's 13 that this may be my new favorite Russell's bottle ever. Do you like this bottle more or less than the 15?
I don't know.
This is the single rick house. This is the 15.
I mean, that's nice. I have a problem that once I sense peanuts, my brain's like, shut it off.
Just can on the peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I still think the single rick house is a better tasting whiskey. It is a little bit more money. So that's,
I mean, after drinking all three, like I don't get as much peanut. I still like this one.
okay. All right. So for me, single rick house is still the number one Russell's ever. This one is let's see, CNC from 2 years ago. I ran out of CNF because I loved it so much and I kept giving out samples. Russell's 13, it's a banger.
It's very good.
The price, it is getting up there. But you know, like I said, I rated this like a 91. I'd probably give the Russell's 13 like a 90. And the single rick house probably like a 93. This is like up there. It like tops. Love this whiskey. Really, really amazing whiskey. So, is it a buy or a pass for you at $250?
That's always a hard question. I think it's great to have.
Yeah. It's a resource question, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't, but I mean, like, I was going to say I wouldn't reach for it to sip on it, but I wouldn't reach for it to sip on it because it's $250.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know, like, it's lovely. It's a nice pour. Because I get a little bit of peanut, like I would like not reach for it to be like, oh, I should have a should not be asked this question. Viewers should purchase it if they get the chance, if that is in their flavor profile.
Yeah. So what I would say on is it a buy or a pass? For me, it's a buy. But this really does come down to resources, because if you're on a whiskey budget, and most people are, this isn't a good source to spend your money on, right? Like you'd be much better off going and seeing if you could find several Russell's Reserve single barrels that are, $86 and getting multiple of those than getting one of these. If this is outside of your budget and it's going to mess up your finances, don't buy this bottle. But if you have the resources and you're going to use it to share with people who know what it is, that would be excited about have the opportunity to try this, absolutely, this is a buy. So for me, it's a buy, but with the caveat that you should not be going outside of your whiskey budget to get this bottle. So let's give away some whiskey.
We should do that.
So what do you say we let them do what we just did with these 3 bottles?
For sure.
And how many do you think how many sample packs should we give away?
Like 5 1-ounce sample packs.
That's a good number. 5 1-ounce sample
Because they'll
packs.
have the 15, the 13,
And the single rickhouse.
and the single rickhouse.
Awesome. And for reference, it's single rickhouse CNC, Camp Nelson Warehouse C, because I am out of F. But I found that hiding in the back of the shelf. So yeah, so that was nice. So all you have to do to enter to win is like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and fill out the web form in the video description below. We will run a randomizer, reach out to the winner, get your actual address, and ship your samples absolutely for free. And if you like this content, you want to think about supporting the channel, we have a Patreon with a lot of member benefits. We do virtual monthly bottle shares. There's bonus content. We do trips together, whiskey curated trips. We do single barrels, monthly virtual bottle shares. There's all kinds of great stuff going on. So it's not just a one-way street, and we have price points for every budget. We also have great merchandise that Pretty Girl has curated for us.
Yep.
And
more coming.
coming.
Gonna keep it churning.
Yeah, keeping it turning. Got some new, very exciting things coming down the pipeline. More customization available for you.
I
So
gave up my entire dining room for 2 lasers.
2 lasers, yeah. So that's very exciting.
So we eat around the laser, basically.
We do that, yeah. And then shameless real estate plug. I am a real estate agent, and the real estate business has subsidized this channel in the past. And a great way to show support would be to interview me if you need real estate services in the Dallas or Houston metro area. And I do give allocated bottles as closing gifts, so keep that in mind. And if this is your first time tuning into the channel, I'd love to tell you a little bit about our show philosophy. We are all about bringing people together around whiskey. And that's because we want to use whiskey as a conduit to create community and connection. And that became a mission of ours whenever I lost my brother to suicide, because he had lost a lot of the connections in his life. And we believe that that negatively contributed to the way he was feeling. And we don't want people to feel that way. And we saw how whiskey was bringing people together. And I thought, maybe if I could get you connected to whiskey, the whiskey do the rest of the job and get you connected to others. So we started the channel. We also started Bourbon Real Talk Community, which is a free Facebook-based whiskey enthusiast forum. And
It's troll free.
it's troll free. And we
Or we try. Our admins try real hard to
real
keep it.
hard to get the trolls out, and the scammers. There's tons of those too, because we have almost 32,000 members as of this recording. So, we do the best that we can. But troll-free environment, which was important because there are a lot of people out there showing negativity and hate in some of the online forums. But we were able to build a positive community. We parlayed that into creating Live Stay Project, which is a suicide prevention and intervention nonprofit, and all of the administration of that is done inside the Bourbon Real Talk community, all the board, et cetera. So not only did we do that, but those trolls and those negative people, they taught us something very important about what we're able to do here on this channel, and that is if they're able to hate you online even though they don't know you, there's nothing that keeps us from loving you online even though we don't really know you. And that's why we end every episode the same way, and that's this. if you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that we love you. We'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk. Cheers.
That is, yeah.
If you want to know my wife's level of commitment to Harry Styles, if I take 2 seconds to walk behind the camera to make an adjustment, she opens up her phone and starts playing a Harry Styles video.
I did not start playing it. I opened up my phone and my phone started playing it.
It could be because your phone knows what kind of videos you usually watch.
I do watch a lot of Harry Styles. I don't know what he's doing. Now we have to finish it. Are you gonna put your transition face in?
Transition?
Yeah, where you're like, where you flip the switch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you do video. This year, Wild Turkey released a 15-year Russell's Reserve for whopping.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Exactly how that went. $250?
250.
Got stuff on your hand.
I sure do. Smells amazing. Makes the whiskey taste better.